What's up, y'all? Welcome back out to the bench in the backyard. I'm out here today. I'm going to be doing a little bit of trimming and some wiring. It is September the 8th, so it's getting into wiring season for me. Next several videos you'll be seeing from me will be just me wiring a bunch of plants. So today what I have is what's the sign? It's a false holly or a false olive. But I did this one beginning of May. I filmed it and forgot to edit and put that up, so I'm going to add that into the original styling into this video. You'll see that right after this little intro. But this is what it looks like now. It's put on a lot of growth since I trimmed it. You can see a lot of this long leggy stuff. Like I cut right here, and it actually budded out down here, here, and a lot of all this stuff is brand new growth. Again, this top one cut off here, and then those two leaves both budded, as well as the leaf one of the leaves right below it. So what I'm going to go in here and do is I'm going to clean up all of this stuff on the inside. That way we can actually look in here, and then I'll show you what I'm going to plan on doing with this. It is a triple trunk. If I scrape all this away, the dirt, they do actually, get this out of the way, kip you all in a little bit. But yeah, if you look down in here, you can see all three of the trunks are connected. I'm thinking that this was probably the main trunk and it had two branches come off of it. I'm not sure. I'll find out in the spring when I go in here and actually dig it all out. But yeah, so this will be the main front, what you're looking at right now. And so yeah, that's what we're going to be doing. We'll be cutting this back a little bit, doing some major branch selection, and then I'll be putting some wire on this and getting it shaped up the way I want it. I do most of my wiring in the fall because everything's getting ready to go into dormancy, especially for like my evergreens. This is going to be an evergreen species. All of my junipers are evergreens, but they do go into a dormant period during the fall and winter. So that's when I like to do all my wiring. That way I don't have to worry about it for several months, any of that cutting in. You all saw I did those two dawn redwoods last week, but they will be getting planted in the ground over there. But yeah, so my wiring is starting this week, and this is going to be, I guess, technically number 3 for the wiring for the fall, but really it's number 1. Those dawn redwoods, we'll see. They'll probably, they won't need to be unwired for until at least the spring, but yeah. So we're gonna get into this. I'll go ahead and throw that other video in here real quick, and I'll get y'all set up so that you can see what I'm doing, and we'll get into it. All right, see y'all in a sec. Today I'm going to be working on this Osmanthus heterophylium Kaorihime. It's a false olive, false holly. It's a fragrant tea olive. It's got these really small holly-shaped leaves. It's a little prickly on the inside. The ones on the outside are pretty soft. But what we're going to be doing today is cutting this way back. We'll be leaving it in this pot, but we'll cut it way back, try and get some shape into it, and yeah. So let me get started on this. What I'll do, it's a little, I believe, triple trunk. It might be 3 different plants. I'll go in once I get this all cleaned up and try and scrape out at least the top inch or two of this pot, just to see what we have left. Mainly what I'm going to be doing is going into the middle. Anything that's growing to the inside of the tree, we'll take it out. Any of these big, long, elongating branches, I'll cut back to either a pair of leaves, because the way these are, they are alternating leaves. They switch one side to the other. So you'll have a set that's like this, and then you'll have a set that's like this above that. So what I'll do is I'll come in and either clip back to just above a pair of leaves like that, or I'll actually come in to where there is a branch that's going in the right direction, and I'll cut back to that. So if I have something like this, whole thing can come out because I've got this branch coming off this way. It's also got one growing up. So I'm going to go in, do that real quick, and I'll see you guys on the other side. And I don't plan on repotting this. So we're just going down trying to find the nabari. See if we can't get down to what should be, just to make sure that we're actually working with one tree and not two or three. And there we are. All right, so we definitely know that it is a single tree. Not sure how far down this goes, but we'll treat this as a single trunk. Depending on how far down this goes, it could be fairly big. But as this stands, that's just something good to know for the future. I'll go ahead and put this back in the pot. All right, what's up, y'all? We're back. So what I'm going to do, what I'm going to be doing, I'll definitely come in here and clean up all of this new growth that's down low. Don't need it at all. It's taking away from the bottom of the tree. So we'll go ahead and clean this all up. And this way we can actually see what we're doing down low. Okay, so now that we can see in here, these old cuts have started healing pretty nicely. You can see the calluses rolling over. They look like they're still growing, so I'm going to leave them as is. This one's basically completely closed up. That's a new one. That's the new one that I just cut off. But you can see up in here, they're closing up really nicely. This is a fairly fast growing tree, or plant bush, I should say. So we're just going to come in here. We've cleaned that up a good bit. Now we have to think about what branches we want to keep and what we're going to get rid of. So this will get straightened up a little bit. curve this one back in, and we can bring this one towards the back, maybe bring this one down and out, kind of bring it in like this. So we'll probably keep this one right here and take this thicker one off in the back here, and this little one is definitely got to go right there. That way you can see it. So if we bring this up, this is pretty straight, so we want to get a little bit of movement into it, bend it out a little bit, and then we'll get even more movement right here. So what I'll probably wind up doing is putting my my trunk bender on this to try and get a little bit of movement out of it, so it's not quite so straight. Although if I took this one off, we'll have a pretty big scar right here in the front. But this one has this, yeah, it's kind of straight right there, but it's got a nice arc to it. If you look at it from this angle, you can see as my finger goes up it, it just kind of is a gentle curve from down here at the base of the trunk. It's kind of straight, but then it has a curve out here. I could probably bring this one down just as easy. So I think that's probably what I'm going to do, which means I have to take this whole branch off right here. See how that looks. And so if we bring this down and around, we could actually still keep this center branch, or keep this one. Because we've got this one that's in the back. So this will get pulled in kind of towards the middle and then back out to the back. So we have this coming in kind of like that. Oops. We'll have a little bit of a turn on it. This other side, we're going to get rid of this upright one and use kind of this curve where it comes back, comes over, and then we'll take this out and bring it back up so it's kind of straight, so we get a little bit of an S curve to this trunk. If we take this out and then bring this down, should be able to get some back butting on this, or we take that off and use this as that directional branch, which it would be the second directional branch, I guess. If we use this one, this back one, as the main directional branch. Yeah, I think we have to get rid of this one right here, because you're getting a little bit of inverse taper right here, just the direction that this one came off. So I'm going to go ahead and do that. Again, like I've said several times, if you just look at it and you don't do any cutting, it'll never become a bonsai. So we'll go ahead and just make our cut. That didn't go all the way through, but that's fine. So, big branch is gone. Come in here, clean this cut up a little bit. Actually, let me put my knob cutters. And yeah, that cleans up that inverse taper a good bit, where it did come out, just because of the angle that this was in here at. And that just takes away from the look of that trunk. So that's nice. That fixes that problem that we were having, that I didn't realize we were having until really getting in here and looking at it. All right, so over on this side, we've got this one that's growing straight down, and that just doesn't work. But the rest of this, we've got this right here that's dead. So, looking in at this, I've got this as a branch that I could use, or this, which has really long internodes, so there's no growth anywhere on this part. Although if I do snip it here, I would probably get some back budding here, especially if I got some of this moved up out of the way. I think this one needs to come off. I think that does. So we'll come in here. Go ahead and cut that down. And come in with our knob cutters. Quite flush. All right, so I've got this one that carries this straight out and it splits into two, but I've also got two coming off right here. Well, that's actually one that splits into two right at the main branch. So I can take this off. Now, I think what I want to do is I want to keep this main part. So we're actually going to come in, cut that off. And so now we have this, and then this double coming off the back of it. So I could come in here, take that off, because we do have this back here that is that'll fill in this space right here. So I think that'll gonna go as well. And that brings us down to this single little bit of foliage right here off of this main branch. I'm going to actually come in here and thin this up a little bit. because it's kind of competing with that trunk. The size of it is, that is. So thinning that out a little bit. And then if we kind of bring this over and then up when we wire. Sorry. Like that, we should be okay. I mean, the base of all of these is pretty set where they are. I could maybe, nah, not really. So yeah, I'm gonna have to get all of my bend and stuff that is coming a good bit higher up off the tree. All right, so this side, and we'll worry about the top when we figure out what we're doing with all the bottom. So if I take this and also bring it down low, maybe right up here, kind of above this one, have this one be the lowest branch over here. So if we bring this up and in right here, that'll fill in a little bit of space over here. So that's what I'm thinking I'm going to do there. So I don't need this guy. So this will come over and up like that. So we can come in here and take this one back. Same thing back here. I think we're going to take this one all the way off. So that as this one comes up, we can kind of point this one up and in this direction. And what I'm doing is coming in and cutting down to a pair of leaves. The way these grow is alternating leaves. So you have one set that's like this, and then the next set will be like that. And then they just alternate like that, alternating pairs. So it's pretty easy to come in and just nip it off right there where the opposing leaves are. This one, just kind of overpowering the branch. That way we'll have this as the tip. This guy can come off. Here to an alternating leaf. Right here we've got 3 coming out of the same spot. These 2, this one and this one, are a little bit stronger than this guy. And they're kind of pushing out of the branch anyway. This one's kind of pushing back in. So we'll get rid of that guy. I think we'll leave those as they are. All right, So if we do that, this little one shooting off from the middle, get rid of. This one that's growing straight up, we'll get rid of. I guess it's so if we go out and then back up and around like that, get a little bit of movement. You can't really see it. So if we go out and then back in like that, we get a little bit of movement in that trunk, and that one actually comes all the way up to here. So we could even bring that in and up. If we do that, we need to get rid of this guy because that's growing towards the middle. I think we're going to save this. That way we can have something fill in back, especially if we're going to bring this over here. Well, if we're going to bring it right there, then we don't need that. All right, so in here we've got 3 coming out of the middle, and then we've got 2 right here. So I think what I want to do if we take this middle one out, which is tripled, then that would leave this one right here and this one here, which from the front they don't really. So if I keep one of these and keep 2 of these, because they're from slightly different spots. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to take this one in the back out. Now I'm down to 4. So I've got this one that's coming off the front right here. And I've got these 2 or 3 back here. Then that's going to give us some problems with taper. Or I could bring this whole thing all the way back down to here and try and get these buds right here to pop. See if I can't get something going to the left and to the right, and then just carry this one over to the left. So I could cut it here. Or I could take it off entirely. Because when we bring it back in, that's going to be kind of growing towards the center. I think what I want to do is I want to try and get these two buds to pop. I don't know if you can see it very well, but there's a bud here and there's a bud here. So if I cut right above that, then I should be able to get these two to pop, and we'll get rid of this one and keep this guy going out over this way. So we'll have this and then another branch coming this way as well. We've got this big guy over here growing in towards the middle. Although, if as we bring it up, we can kind of twist it, then this will come more towards the back. I think that's what I'm going to try and keep that. We'll see once we actually get wire on this if we're going to keep all of that up there. I know we're going to shorten it down. Shorten it there. Here we've got a bunch coming out from the same spot. So within this about half an inch, I've got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This one right here is kind of the continuation of our apex, but I don't know if that's going to be our tallest tree. If I bring this out and then this up, then back at us, that gets rid of this one. This back here is going to be way too strong. And there's no taper going up through the branch. So I'm going to bring it back down to this right here. Sorry. Down to this one right here. So we're going to take off this big giant straight piece right here. Bring it at least down to here. And that gives us, we've now got two pieces coming from there. It splits here, there, and continues up that way. And there is a so if we're going to keep this and this, we'll let this tip right here die off as it's going to. If it just starts to cover up, then in the spring we'll come back here and double this back to this guy. That's crotch growth. So we can bring this there, bring this one up and over like this. And that kind of gives us, this kind of fills in right here above this guy. A little bit in the background. And then this can kind of fill in this spot back here. Because I don't have any, I can grow this one out as well over this way. So if that's the front, we bring this one out this way. Maybe bring this one down this way. And then turn it, actually we'll shorten these back. So with these, just kind of shorten them. And then this is going to come hang out over here. So like that. That'll fill in that hole right there. And from the front, it'll sit over here like this. I think I want to keep this bottom one. So we'll come in, take off that top grower. And this way, we've got it bifurcating here, and then right above that, it's bifurcating again. So that gets us a little bit of ramification. Go ahead and start working on that. Okay, so this is coming out here. This is coming here. And we can either have this one come back in towards the front, like this, and then get rid of this one. Or we can have this one kind of sitting right there. Although looking at it from the front, that just looks like a straight piece of wood, even though it does have some movement this way. Like, you can't really see through there. Like, it is coming forward a little bit, but looking straight here, it's kind of straight. So I think that one's going to have to go. All right, so we're going to come in here, shorten these back, get rid of that guy. I think we're going to use this. All right, so I'm back with some wire. A lot of this is gonna, like, especially these bigger branches, you have to be using larger gauge wire. But most of this stuff isn't really gonna need it. So what I'll do is I'll probably wire from here up onto this. Good way to tell if your wire is going to bend your tree is to take about 1 inch of your wire and just push. If the wire bends, it'll bend the tree. If the tree bends, it'll bend the tree. If the wire bends, it really won't. I don't think I have much choice here in wire if I want to get as drastic a bend in some of this. I'm going to have to use this, I think, 4mm wire. So, I'm going to take it. This will go from here, we'll go down the trunk, and then up back here, carrying it up to probably about right here, just to kind of get a nice base. So I know I'm going to need about like that. We're trying to get in between these branches, that way we're not trapping any of them up against the trunk. We get a nice good contact on the ear. Oh, I knocked some of the bark off of it right there. Hopefully that's not going to cause too much of a problem. If it gets to the point where you can't bend it with your fingers, just grab your pliers and finish that off. And then this one is going to come up. And around. Then down on this one, we're just going to basically be using this as an anchor. I definitely don't need that big of a wire out here, and it's basically in the spot where I need it. So I'm just going to be using this little part of the stump as an anchor to wire this guy right here. So I don't need a whole lot. I just need a couple of inches taller than what it's actually going to be. So we can look right there. Cut that off. That off, but that'll be all right. That way we get it out, and so it's coming a little bit back up. And then back here, I'm going to tie this guy to this one, start to bring it up here, probably to about right there. I don't need that big of a wire all the way up there, but that's what we're going to be doing, just because it'll be there. Okay, so that's all of our primaries. They don't need anything that big. We'll probably step down to like a 3mm on the rest of it. Make sure, again, we'll take an inch. Oops. And that'll bend with that. That'll bend with that. That'll bend with that. That'll bend. And that'll bend. Same there. All right. So now we're going to be wiring this one to this. And so what we're going to want to do is we're going to want to come on the top of this wire, top. Rather be on the bottom though. Actually, yeah, I can get there on the bottom. That's actually the better way to do it. If I just run that down. And see what I'm doing right here is how this one comes up right there. I'm just going on the inside of that. Make sure I've got just enough wire to wire that part of the branch. And then we're going to want to stay right up against this wire. So this side's basically all wired. Actually, no, I think we're going to wire these two together. And then we will wire this one with this one back here. And then all I will have to do is wire this one probably right there. Just have that one straight here in the middle. Like that. And that won't take a big piece of wire. That'll take like a 2.5. Alright, so with this one, we don't have to worry about matching this wire up here because it's just going to be going straight from here to there. So what we'll do is, because we're going to be lifting this one up, we want to bring this one up and over like that. Bring that down right there. All right, so what we're looking at doing, I'm going to grab a guy wire and I'll guy this down a little bit. Guy that one over. So I split trunk right here. I can wrap it and just hope that this stays alive. But I don't think I need this part. Yeah, and that thins it out a little bit. I'm still going to need to wrap it. So yeah, I'm going to bring this down a little bit. So what we'll do is we'll guy wire this one down, and I'll probably guy right there and get a little bit more splay. And so we'll have it about like that. So let me go ahead and do that. Here. We want to make sure that we get it on the wire so we're not cutting into the trunk. That's the one, and the other one's going to come in here on this side. And again, we're going to just try and be on top of this wire. We'll do that once we actually get it tied in. We'll just lift it up and make sure that we're on the wire and not on the tree. And then we'll do the same thing over here. And now what we're going to do is we're going to be supporting the tree and pulling down and twisting. And same thing on this side. Grab, pull down, and twist. We'll throw a guy on this one as well. And if you ever have a like if you're tying it to a bucket like this, what I'll do is I'll come in here with a chopstick and then just make sure that I can spread it out like that, and it's a chopstick. So that's 7 cents or whatever. You can use, whatever you have laying around, but I've always got chopsticks laying around. Buy a big pack of them and they last forever. So yeah, that's where we're going to go with it. So we're kind of spreading it out like this, and then what we'll do is eventually this part will come up a little bit, and what we're trying to do is create a dome right here, and this one will eventually come in, and we'll make a big rounded top shape to kind of give us a large broadleaf tree, because yeah, it's an evergreen, but it's a broadleaf evergreen. So if we kind of get a little dome shape, that's how you see big oaks out in the fields. Is it's just like 4 or 5 trunks going up to the top of the tree, and it's just this big rounded top. Eventually, once all this grows in, our final height will probably be about right here, about 3 or 4 inch, 2 to 3 inches above where it is right now. But yeah, so that's where we're going with that. It turned out not too bad. There's a few splits, and I'll go in here and everywhere we made cuts, especially the bigger cuts, I'll go in, put cut paste on it. And we'll set this in the shade for a little while, see how she turns out, and just get ready to wire all the rest of them in the next couple of weeks, and try and get a bunch of those videos up. So until the next time I see you out at the bench in the backyard, just remember to grow them big, but keep them small.